Bear Grylls, welcome to Global Classroom. How are you today, Bear? How are you?
Yeah, we're all good. Yeah, it's very nice to be with you. Hey, what's your name on the right?
Oliver, can you hear us okay?
Hi.
How are you? Always much nicer to speak to kids and teachers.
That's
Tell
wonderful.
me, how are you? You're surviving?
Yeah, I'm surviving.
Good for you. What year are you in?
I'm in year 6.
Nice. And have you been okay for lockdown? It hasn't been too awful?
Yeah, I've been okay in lockdown. I've been able to get outside and play, so yeah.
Good for you. Have you got brothers and sisters?
I've got an older sister, she's 15.
She's really bossy.
Yeah, most of the time.
Yeah, I've got an older sister. My sister's really bossy. You wouldn't believe it. Let's just hope let's hope she's too old to watch this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm in trouble. Are you into sports? What are you into?
I'm into football, and I also like my maths and other subjects.
Oh, nice. Good for you. So are you going to be asking me the question, or is the headmaster going to be asking me the question?
I'll be asking you the question.
So we've got a number of questions, Bear. So there's a couple from different people around the world. We've got one from Oliver, who's there, and then later on we've got one from Josie, and she'll be on. And we've got a great question coming in from Myanmar as well, and that is going to come in from Zolmin from Myanmar. So each question will come in at each time, and I'll introduce each pupil for you before they come online as well. And it's great to have you here as well.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Wonderful. So the first question, here we go. So our theme today, Bear, is one global mind. So we're asking the world to pause in this moment and focus on mental health and well-being. Now, we know you're someone that children around the world look up to, and we've had loads of questions sent in to ask you, and they're very excited about this. And you're certainly famous for encouraging resilience and a spirit of exploration. So how important has mental health and well-being been for you, and how have you developed your own mental strength as well?
I think mental health is part of who we are. You know, we're made up of, we've got to look after our physical health, got to try and stay fit and eat healthy and sleep right. And we've also got to look after our mental health, and that means just being aware of how we're feeling and having close people and close friends or family that you can share feelings with. I think I can only ever speak to what I do to help my mental health, but I do consider it a key part of, my arsenal. You got to have good weapons around you, tools to use to keep good mental health strength. And I think for me, one of the key things is I'm really lucky I get to spend a lot of time outside. I think they've done so many studies now of actually how fresh air and sunlight makes a huge difference to our outlook on life. And I think that is true from my experience when, just being able to get outside. It doesn't have to be in anywhere sort of spectacular, just being outside, even if it's in the garden at home or in a local park, or even if it's a walk to school, that time I really find it kind of helps me. I think having really good friends around you, that you can share stuff with is important, and great friendships, as is always based on vulnerability, being able to be honest with one another. And then the third thing I always do to help my mental health is to get active. I do think when we're moving and when we're exercising, it gets the blood flow going, and that cleans out old kind of dead cells in our brain and our body, and it keeps everything moving and fresh. And if you look at nature very rarely stands still. It never stands still. Even on geological scales, everything's slowly moving. And I think we are designed for that. I think when we stop, we stagnate. And I think to keep exercising really helps for me with my mental health. But I would also say we're all a work in progress, and I don't think any of us ever perfectly have it together. That's not how life is it? So I think being honest, good friends, outside, keep exercising. That's helped me.
That's pretty great advice in a nutshell. Thank you for that. And I know that you're absolutely right. None of us are perfect, and we all have challenges in what we do. And I totally agree with that. And one difficulty is, when we face mental health challenges, how can we balance having that sort of inner strength, but also knowing when to ask for help and to reach out for help, not being afraid to do so?
Well, I think inner strength is reaching out for help. You know, they're not two separate things. You know, it's not a question of when do you reach out for help and when do you rely on your inner strength. I think the truth is inner strength is about being able to be honest. You know, and sometimes that inner strength is going, I've got it, I've got this, it's good. And sometimes it's going, oh, I'm struggling at the moment. And that's where having great friendships matters so much. And I look at the way we film as a tight team, as a crew, you know, there has to be honesty and vulnerability. And I think when you're honest with people, you create bonds with people. And where there's bonds, like with anything, there's strength. So sometimes the strongest thing is asking for help. And we've all been there. And that is definitely okay.
Totally agree. Absolutely spot on with that. Thank you for that. I'm going to bring in actually Oliver now, who's got a question for you to ask first of all. What's your question, Live with Bear, now?
Hi Bear, my question for you is, what gives you the confidence to present on TV?
Well, I think the honest answer is I don't always have that confidence. You know, sometimes it's a real struggle actually, and it's like, oh, I'm really nervous before this adventure or before this episode or this shoot that we're doing. And I think I've learned in my life that it's okay. It's okay to feel those nerves. You know, those are all pretty natural and they're part of, you know, what prepare us. So I've learned over the years not to try and sort of push those feelings of like, oh, you know, I'm nervous of this. I don't push it away. I kind of embrace it. I use that tension, those nerves, that little bit of fear, almost to keep me sharp, keep me focused, make sure I know what I'm doing, you know. And I think being a little bit nervous with stuff, it's like a muscle. The more you do things, the more you're familiar with that feeling, the more you go, okay, this is good. You know, I think when we never do stuff that's outside of our comfort zone, A, we never grow, B, we never fail, and therefore we never grow. But also we never get used to this feeling of trepidation. And the feelings of trepidation and nerves is just part of life. You know, whatever you do, if you're going to be ambitious in your life and go for it, if you want to, you know, Ollie, I know you're a great footballer. If you want to, you know, play in the Champions League, you're going to be nervous before that final match, you know, and the more used to that feeling you are, the more you're going to be able to control that and then use it and give you focus. So I don't run away from those feelings and nerves. I try and get used to them, try and embrace them, try and use them to keep me sharp.
That's brilliant. Thank you for that as well. And obviously this event goes out around the world to hundreds of thousands of children as well. And we ask the questions in from around the world. And one of our questions now is coming in from Myanmar, from a remote school. And we've got an A team out there to get the question filmed for you as well, Bear. And here's a question coming from Myanmar first of all. It comes from Zormin.
Hey, thank you for your question. Good for you. How do you build good teamwork in a team? You know, it's such an important question, and all of our lives are about building and being able to operate well in teams. And I think a team is just an extension of a friendship. You know, how do you operate in a relationship one-on-one? How do you operate with friendships? I think that honesty and vulnerability is key. I think this thing of being a friend to people when it really matters, I would say, is the beating heart of that answer. You know, it's about not trying to compete with each other, whether it's friends or people in your same team. You're on the same team. Help each other, work for that greater good, and being able to be a friend to people when they really need it. You know, I think if you just take one thing from our time together today, take that, you know, the value of close friendships and the value also of resilience, because ultimately everything we've been speaking about comes down to that, you know, resilience. And again, resilience, it's like a muscle. The more we practice it, the stronger it gets.
Thank you very much for that, Bear. And we'll get that message straight back to Myanmar and translated for you as well, and make sure that does get across there on a tablet for them. Now, another question now is coming in from Josie, and she's got a question to ask you. So we'll get her online now, ready for you. Josie, are you okay? You're now live with Bear. How are you doing?
Hi Bear. What would you do?
Hey, Josie.
What do you do when you get scared or anxious?
First of all, hi Josie. Good. You feeling all right? How's lockdown been?
It's been good.
Have you survived? You got brothers or sisters?
Yeah, I have a little sister.
Yeah, good. Oh, she must be grateful to have you to look out for. It's been a pretty tough time for lots of people. How do I deal with when I'm anxious or nervous? I think that same thing, just don't run from the things we're scared of. So often in life, we're kind of like, we get conditioned to run from things we're scared of. We're scared of public speaking, or we're scared of, getting ill, or what's the other fear? Death. Everyone's, whatever people's fear is, we always sort of run from the things. Snakes, dark places, spiders, don't confront them. But actually all that happens with our fears is that they grow. When we turn our back and we run, the big green monkey of our fear just gets bigger and bigger. So I've learned in my life, because first of all, there's many things I am scared of. I've learned not to run from the fears, but to stand and to face them and to walk towards it. Even if I've got to hold hands of people I love around me, but keep moving towards the difficult stuff. And what I've also found is when I do walk towards the stuff that I'm scared of, often it disappears and you get there and you realize, hold on, that wasn't such a big deal. Why was I scared of that? But you only learn that by walking towards it. So the lesson I've learned, when I'm anxious, I go, this is a trigger. This is good. This is a chance to grow and to conquer something. And I'm going to try and walk towards this, however scary it is, even if I've got to hold the hands of people I love around me.
Bear, thank you very much for that. I think, echo for a lot of young people around the world, it's been a scary time in COVID-19, and a lot of fears have come out and a lot of challenges for young people as well. Perhaps a question for you is, what advice would you give to young people around the world in this moment who are struggling, especially during COVID-19? Many countries still in lockdown, they can't get out and see people. Is there anything that you would say to them, particularly at this time, in this moment?
First of all, that yes, it is a hard time. You're not alone. You are not alone. This is a global thing, and many people are finding it hard. And you're not alone. Secondly, is that storms don't last forever. We'll come when we're older. We'll look back on this time and we'll go, "Wow, do you remember that time? And it was hard, but look what happened, and we learned how to do this, or we adapted like that, or I became best friends with that person, or we built this or made this, or wrote this, whatever it is. So the storm won't last forever, know that, but how we act in these difficult times does last, and therefore act with kindness and act with with loyalty and with love, and use this kind of opportunity, use this hard time as an opportunity to shine good things. And that is the point. I think, yes, it's a hard time for all, but it's also a time of huge opportunity. Opportunity for us to grow and to show our character and to reach out to people and to connect to people. And it's one of the reasons I want to do this with so many thousands of kids around the world. It's a chance to connect and say, we're all in this together. Together we're stronger. The storm won't last forever. But remember through it all, resilience, that never give up spirit. If I had to pick one thing, that would be it. That never give up, comes from inside. And we all feel like giving up sometimes, but it's okay. Keep moving, even when you don't feel very strong. Keep moving forward. And yeah, that's helped me more than anything, more than talent or skills or knowledge, that in my life, of which hasn't actually been very much talent, but I've gained quite a lot of skills and knowledge over the years. But none of those have been as valuable as a never give up spirit. That's the one to really hold on to. And we all have it. It's a fire inside, even if sometimes it doesn't feel like a roaring fire inside. Sometimes just a little flame or little ember. But that's enough. We all have that spirit inside, and lean on it and get friends, become friends with it. Test it every day. That never give up spirit.